Hello and welcome back to my video blog. Well, I like to bring topics that people find of interest here in our local marketplace. And I wanted to bring something to your attention because it happened on a national basis, actually international, but it affects us here locally. And that's recently, if you watch the news or follow the financial papers or prints, you're going to find out that our former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernake, who was in charge of the Federal Reserve until Janet Yellen just took over, was trying to refinance his home, and he had difficulty and I guess at this point really couldn't get his home refinanced, which was just an example of the greater challenge we're seeing in the lending market and how that affects buyers and sellers here currently. So at this point, it's interesting because in 2008 we had the huge recession and all the banks pulled back on all their underwriting standards, and before that time, if you quote unquote fogged a mirror, you get a mortgage. You could make $100 a month and get a $600,000 mortgage. So all that funny business is done, and that caused a big run up in prices, that caused a collapse, and since then there's been a tightening, and that's what Bernake was dealing with, and all our buyers and sellers dealing with it now. So if you're a buyer, I wanted to tell you, a couple of things. Like Lindsay spoke last time and she mentioned the importance of getting pre-qualified. Well, that's incredibly important right now because the vetting process is more intense. There is more to it. There's more verification required. In essence, it takes more time. Okay, so if you're a seller, so as a buyer, get pre-qualified, get all your lending stuff done in advance. Then the second part is a seller, the property has to qualify. And so we've got a couple issues here. One, if the property doesn't qualify, either in terms of price or condition, then we're going to have delays. And two, there could be delays for multiple reasons. When you're trying to sell your home, get somewhere in a certain time frame, we are just seeing these delays. I'm trying to warn people up front. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm trying to prepare people. This causes delays. So if you're a seller, make sure you've got a smoke detector in your house. Make sure you've got a carbon monoxide detector. A lot of times we're advising people to even get their termite work done up front or get the reports done up front. So the key is be prepared. Whether you're selling or you're buying in this environment, be prepared. And then the last thing I want to add to this is it's so interesting now because we see our higher end market, which I would call 800, really $1 million up, is doing quite well, and a lot of those are cash buyers. Those are easy transactions. Buyers like them, sellers like them, we as agents love them. But the jumbo loan market is really, really attractive, and the rates are actually sometimes better than conventional financing. So we have an instance where there's a client borrowing 85% of the mortgage value. They're borrowing almost $800,000, and they call that 85% loan to value. So they're only putting down 15%. And usually, if you put down less than 20%, you have to pay mortgage insurance. Well, in this instance, there's a program available. Buyer puts down 15%. Okay, get an 85% loan to value with no mortgage insurance, and the rate's in the low fours. And this is on well over a $500,000 mortgage. So the jumbo money, the money from 800 to like $1.5 million, is actually in many cases cheaper, and the terms can be better than conventional financing. So it's just topsy-turvy, but I wanted to prepare people because we're having these little bit of delays and these challenges. One, make sure you're prepared if you're a buyer by talking to a lender. Two, if you're selling your house, get that house ready, make sure we got everything so when the appraiser comes in, they don't rip it to shreds, and I mean that figuratively, not so much as a price issue, but a condition issue. They're picking things out. They're having to be pickier. They're being questioned on items. So we have to have the house in good working shape before the appraiser gets in. Okay, so be prepared, have those things done, and then obviously if you have questions about homes that are for sale, look at the link here on our website right below where I'm speaking, and or give us a call. We can put you in touch with a good lending person that can help you with the financing side. Thanks for checking in. Thanks again for all your referrals. And if you have any questions, we're at 781-3750. Have a great day.